Welcome back, Dragon Slayers. Leon, sitting in silence, reflects on his past with a sad expression, longing for a time when his master and his wife had been his real parents. His mother, sensing his sorrow, gently pats his head and reassures him, telling him that one day he will become a father to someone else. Leon, unsure and with a hint of doubt, asks if he will truly become a father. His mother smiles warmly and confirms, saying that his future children will be his blood, the family members he will love, protect, and give everything for. Pulled back to the present, Leon clenches his fist, the thoughts his mother shared ringing in his mind. He affirms to himself that they are indeed his most cherished family members now. As Leon ponders, Ross Weiss watches him and asks what he's daydreaming about. She then suggests that they should head back. Leon, snapped out of his thoughts, quickly stands and nervously reassures her that it's nothing, thanking her for her words. He then invites her to go back together. Instead of slipping her heels back on, Ross Weiss subtly slides toward Leon. Leon, noticing her movement, asks with some confusion what she is doing now. With a smirking smile, Ross Weiss replies that since Leon wants to thank her, he should help her put on her shoes. Leon, staring at her with a long, resigned expression, contemplates her request, clearly unsure but also a little exasperated. The story is becoming more touching with each chapter, as their bond grows stronger and stronger. However, a thought crossed my mind: should I stop recapping this manhwa? Ross Weiss, with a smirk, told Leon that since he wanted to thank her, he should help her put on her shoes. Leon, hearing this, was shocked and taken aback. He repeated her request in disbelief, asking if she really expected him to help her put on her shoes. He declared there was no way he would do such a thing. Pointing his finger at her angrily, he reminded her that washing her feet last time was already humiliating enough, and now she wanted him to do even more. He questioned whether he had any dignity left. In response, Ross Weiss kicked him in the face with her foot, silencing his complaints. She told him that she still hadn't settled the score with him for kissing her at the entrance ceremony, and now, on top of that, he couldn't even help her put on her shoes. She stared at him with an arrogant expression, commanding him to stop talking nonsense and finish the task so they could leave. Leon, grumbling under his breath, finally agreed. He crouched down and placed her shoes on her feet. As he did so, Ross Weiss smirked, commenting that despite his earlier reluctance, his movements were surprisingly quick. Leon retorted that it was true, putting shoes on her was far easier than putting shoes on a donkey. The moment the words left his mouth, Ross Weiss's expression changed. She gritted her teeth in anger and glared at him. Without hesitation, she attempted to kick his head again, but this time, Leon anticipated her move. Smiling, he bent backward, swiftly dodging her kick, her leg flying past his face. He immediately stood up and darted off, mocking her as he ran. He shouted back that as long as he ran fast enough, she wouldn't be able to catch him. Ross Weiss stood there, clenching her fists and glaring at his retreating figure. Her thoughts simmered with fury as she resolved that no matter how fast he ran, it wouldn't save him from what awaited him that night. We don't exactly know how things unfolded that night, but we have an idea of what might have happened. If you're new, subscribe quickly for more. Not more than 10 people are watching the new recaps, so support me by watching the other recaps too. There's a long journey ahead. A few days later, Leon, Ross Weiss, and Moon waited outside. Ross Weiss and Leon noticed something and turned their gaze to the sky. Moon, filled with excitement, pointed upward and signaled to come there. A massive dragon flew over them with great speed. Its immense size caught Leon's attention, and he observed it in surprise, noting that it was several times larger than Ross Weiss's transformed form. The dragon approaching them was the Leviathan, a giant dragon renowned for its size and endurance. Ross Weiss, watching the Leviathan, remarked that despite its massive size, it was not particularly powerful. Its exceptional endurance and stable emotions made it an ideal transporter for the Dragon Clan. Leon then asks what she means by emotionally stable. Ross Weiss explained that a Leviathan, due to its calm temperament, would never lose its temper even once throughout its thousands of years of life. For this reason, the Academy often employed them to transport baby dragons. As they continued observing, the Leviathan then released Noah onto the ground. She landed gracefully and turned to Ross Weiss to announce her return. Ross Weiss welcomed Noah warmly, her gaze softening at the sight of her daughter. Moon quickly rushed to Noah and hugged her tightly, expressing how much she had missed her. Noah, with a slight blush on her face, looked at Leon and tried to speak to him, but her words faltered, breaking mid-sentence. Leon noticed her hesitation and thought to himself that she still wasn't accustomed to calling him dad. Leon and Ross Weiss, holding their daughter's hands, walked inside together. On the way, Leon expressed his happiness at Noah's return, mentioning that her mother and he had prepared many of her favorite dishes to celebrate her homecoming. After heading inside the Silver Dragon Castle, Noah presented her test papers to Leon and Rosweiss. Noah began listing her achievements one by one. For basics of alchemy machinery, she had secured first place with full marks. For Introduction to Magic, Young Dragon Edition, she achieved first place with full marks again. For History of the Dragon Clan, Young Dragon Volume, she maintained her streak, earning first place with full marks. As she detailed her results, Rosweiss smiled proudly while looking over the papers, her admiration evident. Beside her, Moon observed with bright, curious eyes, captivated by her sister's accomplishments. However, when Noah hesitated slightly, her voice grew softer as she mentioned the last subject. For all-round physical fitness, she had only scored 95 points and didn't get first place. She apologized for this shortcoming, looking slightly dejected. Rosweiss, still feeling immensely proud, reassured her daughter with a soft and gentle tone, saying there was no need to apologize because her performance was already incredibly impressive. Moon, agreeing to her mother, wholeheartedly held Noah's hand and expressed her support. In her heart, her sister was the best, no matter what. Meanwhile, Leon took the test papers and examined them carefully. As he looked at his two daughters, a smile of mixed emotions crossed his face. He thought about how Noah wasn't very good at expressing her feelings, while Moon expressed hers perhaps too openly. As their father, he felt it was his role to balance things out. After reviewing the all-round physical fitness test paper, Leon commented on the results. He noted that the activities like running, bench press, and pull-ups were all basic physical training. Considering that Noah was competing with young dragons who were only 4 or 5 years old, it was natural for her physical fitness to fall slightly behind theirs. Then, showing the paper to Noah, he pointed out that she had won 9 out of 10 actual combat matches, giving her the highest winning rate in the class. This, he explained, demonstrated her superior strategy and fighting skills despite not being as physically strong. He encouraged her not to worry about being third, reassuring her that she would have plenty of opportunities to surpass them in the future. Hearing her father's words, Noah nodded in understanding. She then mentioned that her mother had told her that father had been the top student in every subject when he was in school. Leon then explains that when he first entered school, he wasn't at the top of the class. However, he gradually rose to first place through sheer hard work and perseverance. With a reassuring smile, Leon tells Noah that she still has plenty of time and shouldn't let one mistake get her down. He believes she can do better. Noah, determined, clenches her tiny fists and nods, understanding his words. Moon, full of enthusiasm and curiosity, asks her parents who would win if Dad fought Mom, given how powerful Dad is. In response, Leon and Rosweiss place their hands on their chests, each confident in their own answer. Leon, with certainty, says it would be him, while Rosweiss declares it would be her. The two of them then exchange glares, the tension between them rising as their rivalry sparks. Leon, chuckling, recalls his combat training, boasting that no one could match him in hand-to-hand, weapon, or magic combat. He insists, of course, that he was the better fighter. Rosweiss, folding her arms and narrowing her eyes, responds with a smirk. While she didn't win as many honors in the academy as Leon, she focused on winning the key games. We don't know that it might be a little lie given Rosweiss' expression, but they'll see about it. The rivalry between Leon and Rosweiss ignites further as they stare at each other, their competitive spirits fully engaged. As Rosweiss teases Leon, asking if it was because he never managed to beat her that he married her, she implies that he was captured by her. Their conversation is filled with hidden meanings, especially since the children are present and listening they have to hide the past. Leon, with a smirk, responds that it was actually because she failed to beat him, referencing their time in the dungeon. Leon says that because of that they have 2 lovely daughters, Moon and Noah. Leon and Rosweiss suddenly dash out of the room. Rosweiss, not missing a beat, asks why they don't go outside and have a fight. Leon, eager for a chance to show his strength, agrees, saying he's been wanting to demonstrate it for a long time. Moon and Noah awkwardly watch them before running after their parents. Noah takes Moon's hand and runs back their parents. Moon, unsure, asks if they're really going to fight. Noah responds, saying they should follow them and see. Outside the Silver Dragon Castle, Leon and Rosweiss begin warming up, preparing for their match. Meanwhile, Moon and Noah sit on a bench and observe. Moon says that sister is also very curious who is stronger, Dad or Mom, asking if she's right in her guess. Noah, recalling what their teacher had said, answers that watching masters compete more often can help them improve their own fighting skills. With a mocking tone, Rossweiss looks at Leon and suggests that his body probably hasn't fully recovered enough to fight her yet. She asks if she's right. Leon, as he is warming up and with a smirking, responds confidently, asking what would happen if he wasn't fully recovered. He adds that there aren't many chances to fight the Silver Dragon Queen, so he must seize this opportunity. Rossweiss, with a light smile, suggests they make the fight more interesting by placing a bet. Leon, curious, asks what the bet would be. Rossweiss, smirking, explains that if he wins, she won't touch him for a month. However, if she wins, he'll have to fulfill one of her requests. Leon, hearing her proposal, becomes serious and wonders what kind of demands she might make, but as long as he wins, it's worth the risk. Leon, with teary eyes, happily thinks that taking a month off sounds easy. He never would have dared to think about this under normal circumstances. With determination, Leon agrees to the bet, pointing his finger at Rossweiss. Rossweiss, still smiling confidently, says, "Let's get started." Leon, too, smiles confidently, a light smile rising on his lips as he looks at Rossweiss. The fight between them starts with intensity, but our chapter ends here. If you're new, subscribe quickly for more.